In this video, I want to talk about being needy and not needing the other side. Neediness versus abundance. And specifically, when you have a frame battle, when two people are trying to get the other side to prove themselves or to give away their power, what is the role of neediness and abundance? It's not as obvious as it seems, although it also is as obvious as it seems. There are multiple ramifications and multiple subtle things that are important to take a look at. That's what we're going to cover. So the first consideration to establish in terms of neediness versus abundance is a very simple one, and it is whoever needs this the least wins. In any interaction between two people, in any frame battle, the person who is willing to walk away and who doesn't care is the one that wins. Because if you think about it, it's like they're a living ultimatum. If you say even the slightly wrong thing, immediately I'm walking away, I'm done. And this is important because of the psychological effect that it has on people. That is, everybody talks about abundance and neediness, but what is the actual effect that they have at the end of the day? And the key is that when you are needy, this takes away mental permission for you to be flexible. What I mean is, even if you need to say something that is going to be a little bit unpleasant, you are not going to say it because you're afraid that this person is going to walk away because you said it. So there's a lot of different things in terms of mental permission that you just don't give yourself because you're needy. You are not going to challenge the person, you are not going to assert your dominance or to assert your boundaries or whatever it is. You are going to avoid anything which can be a source of friction. And that's exactly how you lose a person. Because in reality, whether it's about a client and a salesperson or in any other interaction, people are looking for authenticity. And this is something that plays out in any type of social interaction, whether it's a salesperson with a possible client, whether it's among friends, or in any other situation, people are looking for authenticity. And if you're needy, you're not authentic, because anything that could be a source of friction, you are going to avoid it so that you don't possibly make the other person angry and they walk away. That's also why having extreme abundance works so well, because if you really don't care and you don't want to be there, then the other person has to do whatever it takes in order to secure you, because even if the slightest thing upsets you, you're walking away. So they have to constantly please you. Out of curiosity, this is also the source of that psychological effect, why when someone is positive, we tend to be negative, and when they're negative, we tend to be positive, right? So if you have a friend, for example, that walks in, they're very upset, they're angry about everything, your immediate reaction in your brain is to be positive, to make up for that energy. So you're going to be helping and saying, hey, what's wrong? How can I help? But it's also the opposite. If everybody's too positive like this, like saying, hey, what do you want? How can I help? Etc., then you are going to be negative to make up for that. And that's exactly what happens with abundance and with neediness. If someone is too abundant, they immediately cause a reaction of neediness. And if they know that someone is needy, immediately they're going to be abundant, in the sense that they think, oh, this person is needy, I don't need them, I'm willing to walk away. And this brings us to the concept of a frame battle, which is, if you are the needy person in a frame battle, how do you hide it? Or how do you make sure that you're not effective mentally? And the key here is indifference at the end of the day. You really have to be willing to walk away even if you need the other side. Because you have to think about this in terms of a paradox. If you are trying to please them and you're very needy, you are not going to create a good reaction. But if you really don't care and you are abundant, then you're going to be authentic. You're going to speak on the level with them, and it's much more likely that they are going to like you. This is why in any kind of transaction or even in personal life, neediness never works, because the effect that you want is not created by the behavior that you think that is going to create it. That sounds confusing. But like I said, it's a paradox. If you really are needy, you have to pretend that you're abundant in order to give yourself that mental permission. And then you don't really act needy, and you're much more likely to close that sale, or to persuade that person, or to win that frame battle at the end of the day. Remember, whoever cares the least wins. So if you care a lot, at least care a little instead of a lot. And before closing the topic, there's one thing that you can do, which is sacrifices. And sacrifices are the following. When you want to communicate true abundance, extreme abundance, you can sacrifice something just to tell the person how much you don't care. An example is sacrificing clients, and this is very common with coaches and consultants, which is literally telling someone, hey, I had this client, they didn't pay enough for what they were demanding of me, so I sacrificed the relationship and I politely told them I'm not going to provide the service anymore. So what you're effectively saying is, you're saying, I don't need this money. And I don't need this money so much that I'm willing to sacrifice this client just because I'm upholding my principles. So if we're talking about being artificial because you're needy and being honest because you're abundant, this is taking that honesty and going to an extreme. It's saying, I defend my principles and my honesty and what I want so much that I'm even willing to sacrifice clients, to sacrifice money, to sacrifice fake friends, whatever it is, in order to have it. In biological terms, sacrifices are also called what is called costly signaling. And costly signaling, as the name says, is you are sending a signal to others, but this has a cost. And you are showing that you do it, even though it has a cost, just to show that you can do it. So to give you an example, in terms of biology, we have peacocks. So while other birds and other animals want to hide from predators, the peacocks have evolved despite the fact that they have very vibrant colors. So what they're doing is they're almost daring the predators. They're saying, hey, I have these colors which are going to hurt me because they attract predators, but I have them just to show that I can attract predators and still survive. So that's one type of sacrifice. It's almost like you're daring the person. You're saying, I am so abundant that I don't even care about hurting myself, and I will hurt myself just to show that I can actually do it. So by using sacrifices and costly signaling, you are really unleashing those possibilities in your mind. You're giving yourself permission to be honest, to be dominant, and to not hold yourself back by being needy in any way. So these are some reasons why abundance really matters in terms of frame battles and what to do in order to be more abundant. If you found the video useful, please consider liking and subscribing, and remember to check out our channel for more persuasion and negotiation techniques, both in terms of this topic, but also for other purposes. Thank you so much for watching.